stock broth. Stock and bone broth. According to some of the research that I've done, there's an airplane going by. It's kind of interesting what I found out. And I recommend that you do your own research, but here's what I found out from my notes. Broth is when you have a lot of meat and a little bit of bone. That means it's high in protein. It's good for like soups. You cook that, the meat with a little bit of bone for 2 to 4 hours in a slow cooker on low. Everything is on low. Stock is the opposite. Stock is a lot of bone and a little bit of meat. And that is full of more of your vitamins, your minerals, your gelatin, and your collagen. That's usually, the stock is good for like gravies. And you cook that for 4 to 6 hours in the crock pot on low. Now, bone broth, on the other hand, is a little bit different. And I guess that's kind of where people get confused, because I was confused too. So, and don't quote me on this. Go do your own research and check it out for yourself. I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, so I'm just sharing with you my notes. But bone broth is a mix of both meat and bones. And it's more rich. It's rich in both the proteins as well as the vitamins, the minerals, the collagen, the gelatin. And you cook that in the slow cooker, or in the slow cooker on low for 12 to 24 hours. And the bone broth is going to be gelatinous, just like the stock. Regular broth is going to be more liquefied. Stock is going to be a little gelatinous. So when you cool it, it's going to be a little bit more jelly-like. The bone broth is going to be completely jelly-like and really thick gelatinous. And it's all good for you. It just depends on how you're cooking it and how long and what you're putting in it. All of them require some sort of a acidic fluid in it. So with cooking to create broth or stock or bone broth, you have to remember, come on, that you have to have some sort of an acidic fluid in the crock pot with the bones or the meat or both and the water. According to the canning book that I was reading, it was saying something about a ascorbic, I think is how they pronounce it, ascorbic acid, which I believe is a powder. But I personally just use apple cider vinegar. Some people just use vinegar. And you don't add a lot. I mean, you only need, depending on the size of your crock pot. Now, I have big crock pots. The smallest crock pot I have is a 7-quart. It feeds 9+ people. And the only reason I know that and remember it is because I just threw away the box. The bigger crock pot that I've done most of my videos about with the dog food and the broth is, I think it's like a 12-quart. It's the biggest one that you can get, as far as I'm aware of, and we've had it for quite a while. Get it? And I think we might have got it from Farm and Fleet. I don't even know. It's been so long. But it's bigger than any of them that I've ever seen anybody else have. So that's the one I like to use the most. But since I've been making so many different soups and broths and dog food and everything, then we went ahead and Ben got me a smaller one, the 7 quart, so that I could do more than one thing at the same time. Utilize your time more appropriate. Work smarter, not harder. So, so what I do is usually I start out with a carcass, which right now I'm doing the Cornish hens we just had for dinner. So whatever meat that we didn't pick off of it, along with the bones and the cartilage, I just take those 2 Cornish hens, toss them in the crock pot, cover them with water, and that's the 7 quart crock pot is what we're using right now. So I put maybe, I'd say probably 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there. Now, I don't measure a lot of things. I just kind of toss things in with the apple cider vinegar. I just do like 2 splashes out of the jug. So don't quote me on measurements either. I do things my way. So, but that's how I do it. I just put a couple of splashes in there with the water, cover the carcasses. I cook them on low in the slow cooker overnight, usually 12 to 24 hours. And so that way all the meat and the bone, all the meat will come off of the bones, all the fat's cooked. That pulls all of the vitamins and minerals and nutrition out of the bones. And then once I'm done doing that, then I'll let it cool. I pull all of the meat and the bones out. I chill it so that it gets cold enough that all the grease will rise to the top. I scrape the grease off, and then I either use it like that, or I will go ahead and put more bones in, because I have some other bones that I'm going to put in there with some chicken feet, because chicken feet give you a lot of the cartilage and the nutrition that dogs need. And people need it too, but that's just, you know, we all need vitamins and minerals and stuff. But then I'll cook the bones in that same broth or liquid and have the chicken feet in there, and I'll boil them on low, you know, cook them on low in the slow cooker for another 12 to 24 hours. Then I let it cool down, because I sure don't want to put my hands in some hot stuff, so don't want to get burned. So I'll let that cool. I'll scrape whatever else, you know, pull all the bones and the whatever's left in there, and pull all that out and just strain it basically. And then I let it cool, and I scrape any fat that's left on there. And then I usually will, after that process, then I will go ahead and use it as a broth. I call it a broth. I guess it's bone broth by then. But, and that's what I use for the dog's food. I also use it sometimes for our soups. You know, it just depends on how much time I have and how much effort I want to put into it as to in what stage of the cooking process that I use it in. So that's just a little bit of information on and notes of what I've taken and my research and how I do things. I mean, you don't have to do it like me. My biggest thing is that through my research, I've also found out that broth stock, bone broth that you get from the store has got a lot of other ingredients in it, and it's very it's really rich in sodium or salty. If you taste it, it's got a salty taste, and your animals don't really require all that. It's not good for them. Like I said, that's according to my research, and I don't want to just give my dogs or myself anything that I don't know what's added in it. If I can't pronounce some of the ingredients, that right there gives me a red flag that I don't want that in my body. And I sure don't want to give that to my dogs, If I still had kids around, I wouldn't want to give that to my kids. So, you know, the reason I'm doing the things I'm doing is because we're trying to improve our health. You know, we want a better, healthier life. And so the more that we can do things at home, I'm trying to keep that glare off of my sunglasses, and know what ingredients are in our food, the better off we are. Then we can control what we add, what we don't add, you know, especially with the girls. You know, my dogs are my kids now because my kids are all grown and had kids of their own. So my dogs are girls, and so they're my kids. And we just try and take the best care of them as we possibly can. I've done a lot of research, especially with some of the symptoms that we've had reoccurring with our animals, and it's just mind-blowing, all of the different ingredients that are in the dog food that we've been researching, and that a lot of that is contributing to some of the symptoms that the girls have had. Some of the symptoms have been repetitive. Some of them seem to be seasonal, but most of them are things that I have researched, and that it's all my research points to the ingredients in the dog food. So that's why I'm making homemade dog food for my animals. I've also done some research and watched a bunch of the different stars and famous people. There's two vets I've watched, but one of them was one's in like Texas or something and runs an entire veterinarian clinic and all. And the other one is a vet, and he is in, I think it's California or Arizona or something. I couldn't quote you. But, you know, and then, of course, famous people like, the one lady is an actress. Well, there's two of those. Two or three of them I've watched. Two of them I know for sure are actresses. The one is Chuck Norris, and he's an actor. He's an athlete. He's advertised for workout stuff. I mean, he's done a lot of things. So he's got a large background. And then there's this other guy that I was watching who is a chef and had done some of his own research. And he referred to a vet for some of the information he got. And so with all of these, and that's just a handful of the people who are providing dog food and claiming that these things are good for your dogs and how they can help. And like I said, that's a handful of people that I've done research and watched and learned from. I've done other research and looked things up, and a lot of books and references I have for that kind of stuff too. And so for me, you know, we're not gonna go buy some expensive dog food, say for instance from Chuck Norris or any of these other people, the veterinarian or anybody else that I've done research from. I mean, some of those bags are like, what? They're little bags, and they're like $60 or $100. I have 3 dogs, 2 of them big dogs, and then the little dog. So there's no way that we can spend that kind of money on dog food. But I can help improve my dog's health, and I can help improve my health just from that research, because that research that I've been doing tells you more about, I got a tickle on my nose today that's driving me nuts. Probably because it's 51 degrees out and beautiful. And so there's allergies and pollen out there. But yeah, I've done a lot of research, and it even, they're saying things like some of these ingredients can even improve our health as humans, especially for us older people. Most people wouldn't know how old I am. I tell you, I'm 23 times 2. At least for now I am. So, but these, even just cooking your own food instead of eating fast food or pre-cooked things from the grocery store is healthier for you. Implementing healthy foods. If you've been watching me for any period of time, you know that I grow a lot of our fruit, our vegetables, and not very many fruits, but I'm working on that. Our location can allow me to grow some fruits. It's just a matter of mastering or learning how to grow them in our temperatures, in our soil. I've had to revert to the grow tower to grow a lot of our things, and pots, because we have this orangish red clay soil, and so not very many things grow in it. Apparently the cactus seems to love it, so that's good. But it's been a huge learning curve for me, so just keep that in mind. I'm not a vet, I'm not a chef, I'm not a doctor, I don't have any fancy degrees or anything like that. It's just me doing research and learning. And then I do videos and post them on Facebook and other platforms and share the information that I've learned with others, just in case somebody else wants to learn from me or start doing research, and maybe I just put that seed in your head to start thinking about your health or your animal's health, or maybe you guys are dealing with some of the issues that I've dealt with my girls, and the excessive itching, or sometimes they lose their fur, they're eating their fur out, or things like that. The one is the older one, the little dog. She is an older dog, and she got lethargic very early in her age. And I thought, well, for a little dog, they're supposed to be hyper and high strung. So even though she's an older dog, she shouldn't just be laying around. That's no way for an animal to be miserable. So I started doing research, and that's some of the things that I've learned and figured out. So I'm not very electronically or internet intelligent, so at least not now. I'm working on that too. So I'm gonna try and see if I can figure out how to link some of the videos, or at least one of the videos of me making the dog food or the broth in the description of this video. I'm not exactly sure if I even know how, but I'm going to try and figure it out. Otherwise, you can always go back in the history of this channel and check it out, and review them yourself, see what you think. Leave comments, let me know if you try anything or you're doing something different. I'm always interested in hearing what other people are doing and how they're doing it. If you have other knowledge on different ingredients that you put in your dog, if you're making dog food or giving your dogs for snacks, things like that. I mean, this is just barely evolved from giving them snacks like cucumbers, carrots, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, to now making dog food. So, because I've noticed that as I was giving the girls these different things for snacks, it started to help improve their health, and they got more energy, they seem happier, they're moving around more. My big dogs are still big girls, you know, and they're getting older, and a lot of times they have, their breeds have been known for arthritis or joint pain. From time to time, I've seen them limp or just not want to jump and play. So, you know, they're not that old. So they should be enjoying their life. And I'm doing the best I can to make sure that that happens. So yeah, I'll leave a link, or try to learn and figure out how to leave a link to one of my other videos, if not a couple of them, in the description of this video, so that you can go check them out. Like I said, leave comments. Tell me how you're doing things, or if there's something that I might have left out or I didn't explain completely, you know, whatever that may be. Feel free to let me know. I mean, I can't improve and learn if I don't get input. So, I'm just going to end this video so that I'm not sitting here jabbering. I do have to go and unthaw the girls' food for dinner and get ready to prep dinner for us humans in the house as well. So, thank you for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe. That always helps my channel, and it shows that I'm making a difference. And if I'm not, that's okay too. It's records for me to review, even though very rarely do I ever watch any of my videos. So, at least then I can go back and see the improvements and review things and remember what day or date that I did certain things, especially when it comes to my plants and everything. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Remember, you are someone. Your animals matter. You matter. I love you. And until the next video, we'll see you then. Ciao now.